There's been a lot of talk lately about church folks who are being too harsh about people that are still trying to find their way, calling them lukewarm instead of showing them grace. But let's get something straight. There's a difference between being in process and being indecisive. See, let me tell you something. When I walked away from the church, I wasn't indecisive. When I was in the world, my mindset was simple. If I couldn't walk away from anything or anyone at the drop of a dime, then I saw it as a distraction, maybe even a threat to my life. That's how serious I was about my own survival. So when it came to God, I carried that same energy. I didn't play halfway. I didn't fake faith. And I definitely didn't straddle fences. When I walked away from God, I did it completely. I wasn't thinking about the fear of the Lord at the time, but I was aware that I was playing Russian roulette with my life. And I owned that choice. I made peace with the risk because at least I had decided. I wasn't pretending. I wasn't trying to keep one foot in and one foot out. I simply made up my mind that I was going to walk away. Even in my rebellion, I had a made up mind. And that's not the problem that we're facing today. The problem is that too many Christians don't have a made up mind. So many of y'all want to serve God when it's convenient, quote scripture like it's trendy, and keep your old lifestyle like it's comfortable. That's not transformation. That's hesitation. James chapter 1 verse 8 says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Notice the scripture, it said all your ways. That means you are stable in your emotions, your relationship, your finances, because instability always follows indecision. Joshua 24:15 says, choose whom this day you're going to serve. That means pick a side. You can't stay neutral when it comes to the things of God because heaven recognizes decision and hell does too. Even Elijah had to call Israel out. How long will you halt between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if it be Baal, follow him. And because so many people are in their feelings about this lukewarm terminology, let me give you a little bit of history on it. So when Jesus told the church in Laodicea, I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot, because you are lukewarm. I will spew you out of my mouth. Revelation chapter 3 verses 15 through 16. Yes. He was talking about water. Laodicea's water was famous and not for good reasons either. So hot springs flowed from Hierapolis and cold streams flowed from Colossae. So by the time the water reached Laodicea, it was lukewarm. The water pretty much was like mineral filled and it tastes bad. So when Jesus said to them, I'll spit you out, they knew exactly what he was talking about because he used what they had experienced daily in reference to the water as a metaphor. In other words, a spiritual warning. So yes, it did start as water, but the ending was about spiritual warning. You see, the water was lukewarm, but the message was about lukewarm hearts. Jesus wasn't condemning imperfection. He was condemning indecisiveness because carnal Christianity, trying to mix holiness with habit, is just as distasteful to God. It's like that water from Laodicea. Let me make this clear right now. To pastors, to teachers, to believers that are teaching this and speaking on it, and to you comfort preachers. Stop watering down what Jesus said, because lukewarm does not mean that you have been hurt, abused, or misunderstood. And it definitely doesn't mean that you are in your healing phase or that you're just trying to figure it out. The message that Jesus spoke, it wasn't a sympathy sermon. It was a spiritual warning. Jesus wasn't speaking to victims. He was speaking to people that were complacent. He wasn't consoling the broken. He was confronting the comfortable. The problem isn't that people are wounded. It's that they've gotten comfortable with compromise. And when you as leaders twist the message to emotional therapy instead of spiritual truth, you rob the people of God of conviction. Grace should comfort the repentant, not excuse the undecided. And yeah, back to this. Y'all who say God knows my heart. And like I said, yes, he does. And that is still the problem. Because he knows when your heart is divided, when you are loyal part-time, and when your love is conditional. God is saying, I can deal with the sinner and I can deal with the saint, but I can't deal with the indecision. And if you have not learned by now, everything is a mindset. When your mind is made up, temptation loses its power. When your mind is made up, your calling becomes clear. When your mind is made up, your peace is protected. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You can't get kingdom results with a confused mind. Deliverance isn't just about casting out demons. It's about canceling indecision. So stop trying to live in the gray when God called you to live in the light. Even in your weakness, make a decision. Even in your process, make a decision. Because God can restore a broken heart, but he won't wrestle with a divided one. And let me make this clear. I'm still going to call you lukewarm. Not because I'm judging your process, but because indecisiveness is lukewarmness. You're not in transition. You're in hesitation. You're not struggling. You're stalling. You say you're waiting on God, but the truth is he's been waiting on you to make up your mind. So yeah, it started as water, but it also ended with a spiritual warning. And if you keep watering down his word, don't be surprised when the message loses its power in your mouth. So no, I wasn't lukewarm. I was about that life all the way. I was lost, but I was decided. And that's why he found me in the trenches. Yep, I said it.